Houston police just released the mugshot of Gonzalo Leon Jr. He is accused of killing an 11-year-old boy who was apparently playing a game of Ding Dong Ditch. The prank, of course, involves ringing someone's doorbell and then running away. Police say the little boy was shot in the back. It's the latest example of a trend that has left children dead. CNN's Ed Lavandera is in Texas on this story. Ed, tell us what you're learning about this particular incident.
Well, Brianna, this murder charge being filed several days after the Saturday night shooting that took place just after 11 p.m., where Houston police say that 11-year-old Julian Guzman and a group of kids were roaming through the neighborhood, knocking on doors, ringing doorbells, ding-dong ditching, as kids often do as in this prank, and that is when Houston police say that Gonzalo Leon Jr. Came out of his home and fired gunshots at those kids, striking 11-year-old Guzman in the back several times. Now, what is interesting is that Houston police detectives hinted at this murder charge over the weekend, saying that it was likely coming because they did not see any evidence that this shooting could be defended as a self-defense claim, that the shooting actually took place away from Leon Jr.'s home. So that was seems to be a significant key detail here that led investigators to pursue the murder charges against this 42-year-old suspect, and that is why we are anticipating that that murder charge has already been filed, and that Leon Jr. is expected he's already made a court appearance this morning and is expected to make another one tomorrow as well.
Okay, so he has appeared in court. What happened there?
Well, he made a brief appearance this morning, and there was just talk of him getting a court-appointed attorney. He didn't say much. Questions over bond and where that will be set at won't come until follow-up here, the court appearance, which we anticipate will be tomorrow as well. But clearly, a significant criminal charge filed against him with these murder charges. It'll be interesting to see exactly what kind of bond, if any, is set for him at some point tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be looking for that tomorrow. Ed, thank you so much for the very latest on this story. It's getting so much attention.